Hey folks, it's Jang here with a look at a Mega Bloks Call of Duty set. This is Nuketown 2. The set officially comes with 664 pieces. It's the yellow house. They previously did the cyan kind of colored house, and this is the yellow one. So they skipped the pink one at the end of the courtyard and skipped across. This has a nice look to the house from the front, and it was a pretty enjoyable build. My favorite feature here from the front is just the chimney, which is actually made from some fairly large preformed panel pieces for the most part, so that not a whole lot of individual bricks are used in that, but plenty of bricks are used in the rest. I also like what they've done around the building of the top kind of eave overhang here and the kind of trellis off to the side. Comes with 2 minifigures. There's also an RCXD set included with this, which I think is really great, and that actually has rolling little wheels on it. They just barely roll, but it's kind of hard to see. The axles don't turn, but the wheels do. You could actually kind of line up those little slots a little bit better. This is the controller for it. You can hold that in the hand of a figure. You know, it's really tough to pull off things at such a small scale, but I think they did a very nice job with this. I'll give you a closer look at the figures, of course, later on. 2 mannequins are included. They've got the little fake topiary and also the mailbox with woods that's actually printed onto the side of it. There's the other mannequin. This one has a garage door, which is actually openable. So that's kind of cool, and it's hinged in a nice way. A little bit of the foliage, little flower bed kind of area off to the side. One little barbed wire setup. A pretty nice street lamp. That's something you actually build up, have to assemble yourself. It's quite nicely done. I really like this piece that they used here. I think it's supposed to be normally used as a candle holder, or I don't know, part of a glass or something, but I just really like the look of that. Also, another thing is included the Welcome to Nuketown sign, which was also included in the first Nuketown set, but in case you didn't get that one, you can get this. And this is actually not a sticker. It's a whole panel of kind of a pretty fine and nice and smooth kind of paper board, or it's kind of like cardboard, but it's really nicely printed. Yeah, everything is printed in this set. There are no stickers required to be applied. Let's take a look at the other side of the house though, because what you're seeing right here is actually kind of a facade. See what I mean? It's not a full house. So this is the garage door right here. So when I open that up, it's just opening into nothingness back there. It's basically just a barrier. There are 2 levels here. The bottom floor doesn't have any real flooring built up, which I think is fine given that it's just on the ground. The little fireplace section is nice. Again, this is really the rocky side is really my favorite thing that they've got going on here. The second floor is mostly empty space, and you just have a fairly recognizable bookshelf over here, and they give you some tile pieces to put in there to represent books, and you've got this kind of Mondrian style of painting, just a sample of that. The glass is broken just around the eye level and shot level, so there's what that would look like with a figure there for scale. So you can put a figure there with a weapon shouldered up. You can be using that as pretty appropriate cover right there. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot going on. This is the thickness of the roof, and this is the larger part of the roof. This is kind of on in a funky way. This whole thing is not really attached, it's just sat there. All of this is one assembly that you do just like this, just a stack of plates, and it has basically a hole at one end to go over the chimney, and that's clever, except when you get here it doesn't quite go down. Maybe if you have just a little bit different amount of warp, long flat pieces always end up having a little bit of warpage to them, especially when you combine them together, but it's really no big deal. The overhang over the garage area is even smaller, but this actually is attached up towards the top, and it has a hinge under there. But again, because it's kind of a facade, there's really not much to see when you lift that up. It's just a thickness of 1, the whole wall here. The two figures are unnamed, so they're not officially licensed characters from the franchise, but if they look similar to any particular known characters, then you can treat them as such if you want to. One comes with the LMG setup with the traditional style of parts, and the other one has this assault rifle that's done up in red with kind of a champagne gold brush going over it, just a kind of a dry brush application. I think that's just supposed to represent red camo skin, where it's trying to look like it's kind of chipped up a little bit, like it was painted and then chipped up, just like the actual camo skin. But I personally only ever played Black Ops just a little bit. I didn't actually own the game, played it at friends' places. But if anybody watching this is a little bit more familiar with what that is specifically supposed to represent, please feel free to post that up in a comment down on the video. Two different vests used between these two. Nice selection of different colors make these kind of stand out. They look different from most of the other Mega Bloks Call of Duty figures that have been released to date. And this is all of the minifig accessories that are included in the set. They're all attached here. So one grenade is attached there of whatever sort you want that to be. Got the ammo pouch right here. This guy's got the little ammo belt kind of utility section that's attached to his leg, and the combat knife, and just the weapons as you see. So here's the new Nuketown house versus the previous one that Mega Bloks made, and I didn't bring in all the extra accessories from this house here, but for me it's a little bit tough to kind of deal with just how little detail there is behind the front, how empty these are, how shallow each one is. But these to me really do look really cool together. It makes it very, very easy to put together a very nostalgia inspiring and believable kind of scene as viewed from the front. When it comes to, if you start turning these things around and looking at them from the other side, they don't look so great, but there's enough room to pose your figures, to place your figures back there, and as long as you put most of your emphasis in terms of enjoying the look of it from this side, I think this really looks great when you bring the two together, and especially if you brought in the other stuff that's included and bring in more figures as well. I think this actually works out quite nicely. Of course, the reason these houses are not built to full depth and everything with fully detailed interiors is that they need to keep the cost, the price for consumers like us, down to a reasonable point where most folks who buy these things would actually be able to afford them. And most folks who are buying these today, or who end up getting them and owning them, are still kids. They're young kids, so it's parents buying stuff, it's kids saving up with their allowances and buying stuff, so the stuff needs to be kept within reasonable prices. And with 664 pieces, a fair number of those being fairly large pieces at that, the suggested US retail price of $40 USD is pretty reasonable. So I suspect that reactions to this set will be very, very, very mixed, and some folks will really like what it looks like and will appreciate the value, and some folks will not appreciate at all just how shallow it is and the fact that there's so little depth and so little interior detail. And I understand both sides completely. So let me know which side you're on, or if you're somewhere in between. Share your thoughts on the video in a comment, including what you think about the design, the size, and the value. Thank you very much in advance for your feedback. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again very soon.